Hello there, friends. It is Jimmy Maverick, and we are going to do a mock draft today. I just found out in my half-point PPR league that I'm going to be picking 8th in a 12-team league, so I thought I'd do a little fantasy warm-up. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to do 8th pick in a 12-team league, which I consider actually one of the more difficult picks in the draft, so we'll see how this goes. We are going to use my app, My Perfect Fantasy Draft, to help pick players today, and you can access my app through my website, ffmaverick.com. And I'm going to show you how to set up. So, the draft is just about to load here, so we're going to set up our list. So first of all, when you log into my app, it's going to ask you 3 questions, right? The first question is, how does your league score points? And we're going to go half-point PPR. And then, do you want to engage Jimmy's recommended player filters? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. And then, do you want to enter draft mode? And this is going to break down the list based on the size of the league, 12-team, and our draft position. So let's see here. Is it going to pop in? There we go. And getting a little bit of lag this morning. That's always problematic, but hopefully it won't create too many issues while we're drafting. We're going to go ahead. We're going to enter draft mode. All right. So the app is now loading, and let me just give you a quick overview of how it looks. So, obviously you got your list of players here. You got the position filters here. There's all sorts of icons and columns. If you want to find out what all these things mean, you can just click on the legend button, and it'll open information about what those are. It is still loading up draft mode right now. Sometimes it takes a few moments to load. But here's the columns we're going to be looking at. All right. So the first column is you got your draft position. Okay, that is my algorithm for what is the most likely place that a player is going to be selected in the draft. All right, so it's going to give you the best idea, the most accurate idea of when players are coming off the board. The next column is the value column, and this is very important because you need to compare the value column against the draft position to see if that player is fairly valued, undervalued, or overvalued, right? You want to stay away from overvalued players. Over here, you got the outlook calculation, and this is all based off of positive and negative criteria about that player. You know, the volume that they can expect to receive. How reliable are they? Was there a coaching change? All sorts of issues like that. There's positive and negative criteria, and for positive criteria, they get plus stars, and for negative criteria, they get negative stars. This is a net number, so this just adds that all up. And so you want players that primarily have 4- and 5-star ratings, although I will consider 3-star rated players. All right. The final 2 columns, so we got 45 seconds till the draft starts here, are the consistency and reliability ratings over here. Consistency is on a scale of 1 to 10. It's a measure of their utilization in the game plan on a week-to-week basis, right? We want highly consistent players, so as close to 10 as possible. And then for reliability, obviously we want high reliable players. I do consider medium reliability players, but I like to stay away from the low reliability players. All right, so this popped up. This is the draft mode, and what this represents is each round of the draft. And when you click on a round, what it's going to do is it's going to show you all the players that are available between that pick and your next pick. All right, but instead of sorting them by their draft position, they're sorted by their value. So the highest value players appear at the top of the list. Now, you can see some names here that are probably not going to make it to us. Antonio Brown, draft position 6. Alvin Kamara, draft position 5. These guys are probably not going to make it to us. So, unfortunately, we're not going to have a shot at them. But you can see below that we have Julio Jones, Odell Beckham, Dalvin Cook, Melvin Gordon. And I've got to say, one thing that's real important this year is if your plan in the first 2 picks is to take a wide receiver and a running back, take the running back first, because I've got to say running backs go very quickly, and if you think you're still going to get yourself an RB1 by the time it comes back to you on the second pick, which for me is pick 17, I will always be disappointed. It'll be like maybe Devonta Freeman or Jordan Howard is going to be my RB1. I don't really want them as my RB1. So I'm going to take a running back with my first pick, and in this case, Dalvin Cook is the highest value running back, but he has a low reliability, so I don't know if I necessarily trust him. Plus, he only has a 3-star outlook. I very much prefer Melvin Gordon, who has a 5-star outlook, as a 10 out of 10 on consistency, high reliability. That's the kind of player that you want. So I'm going to make him my first pick. I think my chances of getting him are about as close to 100% as you can get. We'll see what happens. But you can see it is almost my pick now, and of course all the standard top 7 picks are being selected, so I'm not too worried about us being able to grab Melvin Gordon. Yeah, Alvin Kamara's gone. I'm sure Antonio Brown will probably be gone. If not, it'll be Saquon taken and then Antonio Brown. So now if Antonio Brown did happen to make it to us, it would be a very difficult decision. Now, this is only half-point PPR, so I think I would still grab the running back, just because, at least in full-point PPR, Antonio Brown is the number 1 value pick. But you can see he's gone. See, it's a moot point anyway. He was taken anyway. So we will go ahead. We will take Melvin Gordon, and very happily select that with my first pick. And let's move on to the second round. So we're just going to jump back to my app. We're going to click on the second round. So again, this is showing all the players between the second and third pick, again, sorted by value. And so you can see that the most valuable player at the top is Devonta Freeman. 5-star outlook, 7 out of 10 consistency, high reliability. So very good. I mean, just a very high quality player that you could select. Now, if I wanted to go wide receiver, Devontae Adams is the highest rated wide receiver at his EDP is 16, though. I don't know if he will make it back to me. He would be an excellent choice, though. Again, 5-star rating, 8 out of 10 consistency, high reliability. So I do like that. You've got Gronkowski. If we wanted to go tight end, Gronkowski is, of course, the highest value tight end you can get out there. But my problem with Gronk is consistency 5 out of 10, which is average, right? And the medium reliability has reliability issues, right? It's been a constant issue with him. So I don't know if I would necessarily select him, even though he offers tremendous upside. If you take him, you don't really have to worry too much about your tight end position, because he will be the top or the second tight end ranking every week, right? Below him, we got A.J. Green. We got Mike Evans. Mike Evans, I think, would be a good choice. He has an 8 consistency, high reliability. A.J. Green, not so great. 6 out of 10 consistency, medium reliability, 4-star ranking. So we do have some options. I do kind of like the idea of going with Devonta Freeman here, though. Maybe Devontae Adams if he's still available. So let's go back to the app, and you can see it's just about our pick. And look at that, Devontae Adams is available. So this is a difficult task, but these guys are essentially even. I mean, one or the other. I think I do like the idea of taking a wide receiver second, just to have an elite wide receiver on my team. I will go ahead and I will select him. I did not expect him to make it that far, but that's awesome. So let's move on. Let's go on to the third round, and we will see what's going on here. So third round, our top value player would be T.Y. Hilton, who I think would be a very nice choice, actually. He offers a nice value discount to his draft position. 4 out of 5 stars, 9 consistency, high reliability, and of course Andrew Luck is back. That makes T.Y. Hilton, a potential wide receiver 1 this season. I do very much like that pick, but we want to take real close look at what running backs are available. So we're going to use a position filter, and we're just going to filter for running backs and see who's available. So we got Kenyon Drake and we got Alex Collins. Frankly, Kenyon Drake is not a bad choice, right? He offers fair value, right? 5-star outlook, high reliability, but his problem is consistency, and that's where I would have concerns with taking Kenyon Drake. Alex Collins also, this little gold dollar means it's a contract year this season. Silver dollar means it's a contract year after next season. All right, so the contract year this season is more valuable, but you can see that his value is not great. I mean, he is overvalued relative to his draft position, and I think if we look at the fourth round, look at all the options we have for running backs. We have great options for that round. So I think we should probably go with the second wide receiver, because I just think the options are better for wide receiver. T.Y. Hilton I love. Demaryius Thomas I'm not too big on, even though he is a solid choice, but I'm just thinking that he's not the wide receiver to own in Denver this year. Juju Smith-Schuster has obviously incredible upside. All these guys have nice value, right? Larry Fitzgerald, a little old for me to want to take. T.Y. Hilton would definitely be my top choice here. So let's jump back, and we can see it's still 8 picks till my turn. So I'm going to pause the video until we get to 3, and then we'll see where we're at. All right, we're back, and you can see that T.Y. Hilton is sitting right at the top of the list here. I think we got a good chance to get him. and, Larry Fitzgerald is still there. Juju Smith-Schuster is right there. I think Ty though is our most solid choice for this round. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take him as my second wide receiver. And we've got a quick turnaround. So let's look at, we were talking fourth round, getting another running back. So let's look at what running backs are available here. And Royce Freeman sitting at the top of the list. I do very much like Royce Freeman this year. I think he would be a great option. You can see Kenyon Drake. Now, Kenyon Drake appeared on the third round as well. That means he's right on the cusp of our next pick. So our chances of getting him are not as great as they usually are. Derrick Henry, I think, is a decent choice. These guys are high reliability players. He's got an average consistency, though. You got Jay Ajayi, Alex Collins, Lamar Miller. These guys don't offer great value. So I think what we're going to do is let's go with Royce as our second. And where is Royce? There he is. All right, so we're going to go and we're going to just get him set up and just wait to see what happens over the next 3 picks. Hopefully he does not get taken, but there is tons of hype about Royce this season, so he has been moving up the draft boards very rapidly. And I think we're in good shape here. One of the other things I like to say is out of sight, out of mind. He's not even appearing on the draft board yet because he's just below it. That's great because people only most fantasy players tend to just operate in the range of like the next 4 or 5 players on the list. So there you go. See, that guy took Derrick Henry. But we will go ahead and we'll take Royce. And that looks pretty good. So right now we got Devontae Adams, T.Y. Hilton, Melvin Gordon, and Royce Freeman. So I think we're doing pretty good so far. This is a pretty nice team. The fifth round, I like to let's start looking at tight ends because you can see that obviously all the big ones are gone. Greg Olsen, I think, offers a great opportunity. He offers nice value at this point of the draft. 4-star outlook. His consistency and reliability ratings all took a hit last year, right? Because he missed all of last season. Basically, his consistency suffered as a result. But he is Cam Newton's favorite target. He is the number 1 target on that team. And now that he's back, he's fully healthy. He's been doing great in preseason. So I have extreme confidence that Greg Olsen is going to come back very strongly this season and once again prove himself to be a top 5 tight end week in, week out. I do like the idea of not having to worry about my tight end position. Once you get past Greg Olsen, it gets very sketchy. There are some nice upside guys, like Trey Burton, but most of the guys that I've seen just aren't going to get enough volume to really be anything more than, maybe a touchdown dependent kind of player, like I think Jimmy Graham will be, or just not enough value to be a consistent tight end for you to roster every week. So you just end up streaming tight ends if you don't get one of the primary ones. So we are still 9 picks from our next turn, so we will pause. Hopefully Greg Olsen doesn't get taken between here and then, and we'll see if we can end up with. All right, and we're back, and so there is Greg Olsen sitting there. Now see where his current position is right above my pick 6. I could take the gamble that maybe Greg Olsen would still be available with my next pick. But again, the odds of me getting him are very slim, whereas the odds of me taking him now virtually guarantee that I get him, as I do. So I'm going to go ahead and take Greg, and so that forms out the core of our team. Now, as far as quarterbacks go, I have been finding that I like to wait until usually around the 10th round to take a quarterback. But if you are picking early, which means you have like one of the top 5 picks, I would check for quarterbacks in round 9 and maybe take your quarterback in round 9. I did a draft last night where I waited until the 10th round, and I wasn't really paying close attention to the quarterbacks, and there was a big run on quarterbacks between the 9th and the 10th round, and it really burned me. And that was kind of a bummer because I picked first, and so I had the last pick in the 10th round or the first pick in the 9th round. So there's that huge gap, and I didn't pay attention to that. So check the quarterbacks at the 9th round. If you think there's enough there that you like that one of them would make it to the next round, you can do it. But otherwise, take it in the 9th is what I would say. So let's look at the 6th round, right? We have it filtered for tight ends. That's why there's no players. All right, so let's look. So who is the top value player of the round 6? Well, you can see Robert Woods offers the most value 4-star outlook, 8 out of 10 consistency, medium reliability. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good option. We have Devin Funchess here. This is Carolina. We just took Greg Olsen. I don't know if I want 2 Carolina receivers, just because Cam Newton rarely provides value to 2 receivers on that team. There's just not enough passing volume, right? If we wanted to take a quarterback, Matthew Stafford. Here's another running back, Tevin Coleman, who I very much like this year. He's on a contract year. He's had an upward trend in his usage each of the past 3 years. 5 out of 5 stars on the outlook, 6 out of 10 consistency, medium reliability. So he's decent. I think he'd be decent. We've got Jamison Crowder right here as well, who is a little bit overvalued, but he is also in a contract year, 5-star outlook, 7 out of 10 consistency, high reliability. I think he's a great choice. Marquise Goodwin's a little bit of a risky bet here, and it's already back to us. So I think what we're going to do is I think I want to take Tevin Coleman here, and we will. Tevin Coleman, there he is. I'm going to go ahead and so Tevin Coleman is my 3rd running back, and let's move on to the 7th round. So the 7th round. Again, okay, so here's another example. Robert Woods appearing at the top of. Oh, look at this! Both of these guys at the top of at the 7th and the 6th round. Again, these guys are right on the cusp of our next pick. So, we've got basically like a 50-50 shot to get one of them. But Robert Woods would be, I think, actually a very nice choice on this round. Who else is available here? We got defenses coming off the board. Jacksonville Jaguars, Jimmy Garoppolo, if we wanted to go quarterback, and I gotta say, Garoppolo has looked really good, but my biggest concern about Garoppolo is I think he's the next Alex Smith. I'm just watching his play. I'm watching the fact that he is not getting touchdowns, but he's very efficient. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's a really good player, but I just don't think he's going to be a good choice for fantasy. And you saw that last year as well. He didn't get that many. He got like 5 total touchdowns in the 5 games that he played in. I think that's going to continue, so I would stay away from Garoppolo. Here's a nice choice for a wide receiver, Robbie Anderson, contract year. He's fair value basically at this point. 5-star outlook, 4 out of 10 consistency isn't great, but the high reliability I like. I think he has a lot of upside that we could definitely take advantage of. I wouldn't mind taking him as my 3rd wide receiver. Some more defenses. You got a player like Ronald Jones. Look at these guys. These guys are horribly overvalued, right? Based on where they're going in the draft, and Ronald Jones' stock is just falling like a rock. So I would just stay away from him unless he falls. I did a draft yesterday, and he actually fell to the 13th round, and so I took him. I basically took him at the end of the draft. Maybe he'll work out, maybe not. If he doesn't, it doesn't really matter. So let's go back to the list here. You can see, it's only 5 picks on my next turn. I'm just going to pause till we're within 3, and we'll look at our next pick. All right, we're back, and so I got Robbie Anderson queued up here. You can see it's going to be an easy grab, and I think we're looking good. So that'll be our 3rd wide receiver. So that means we would have Devontae Adams, T.Y. Hilton, and Robbie Anderson as our wide receivers, and we've got Melvin Gordon, Royce Freeman, and Tevin Coleman as our running backs, with Greg Olsen as our tight end. Pretty good, actually. I think this team is shaping up pretty strongly right now. There we go. We'll go ahead and we'll take Robbie Anderson. Let's jump back. We'll go to the 8th round. And you can see here that, so here are top value players. Pierre Garçon and Emmanuel Sanders are guys that don't have great outlooks, right? I think it's mostly because you got age issues, and you got these guys might be usurped by younger players this season. Pierre Garçon, you got Goodwin, and for Emmanuel Sanders, you've got Sutton, right? Cortland Sutton, right? So I would like to stay away from them. Cooper Kupp, I think, would be a nice choice. Look at that; he offers great value still. Only has a 3-star outlook, but as we're getting later in the draft, you can see that things are starting to thin out as far as star ratings. So We could take Cooper Kupp as our fourth wide receiver. I think he has some nice upside, high reliability, average consistency, but the value is just key. I mean, that's one of the key reasons. Let's look at running backs and see if there's any decent running backs here. We got Chris. Okay. Oh, and look at this. Okay, we've got Tariq Cohen, who is a running back who I very much like his upside this year. He's slightly overvalued at this point in the draft, but I don't know if I could really pass him up just because they're using him in the basically the Tyreek Hill role on that offense, and that I think that gives him considerable upside. I would love to have a huge upside player here, and so let's go and we'll bring him up. Come on, computer. Where are you? Oh, Tariq Cohen already got taken. Bummer. All right. So let's look at. Boy, the lag is really starting to bother me here. All right. So we were looking at Cooper. Maybe is he still available? It looks like he might be gone too. He is gone too. Shoot. All right. So we are down to the wire here, and of course it's all. I'm going to take Sammy Watkins. Did it take, or were we too late? Stupid lag. What happened? Who did it take? Phil Rivers. All right. Well, okay. So it grabbed our quarterback because of these lag issues. So that's not too bad, actually. I like Phil Rivers. I don't like taking him this early, but our two choices were gone, which is kind of a bummer. So let's look to round 9 and see what we can get here. So we'll go back here and pick 9. And let's see here. So, again, guys that have good value don't have great outlooks. You got injury issues, just not great. You got Duke Johnson here. I think he would be a decent choice. He offers fair value, 3-star ranking, high reliability, 9 out of 10 consistency. Who else do we have? We don't need a quarterback now. We don't need a tight end. Not great options. We got here's someone that might have some nice upside. Peyton Barber of Tampa Bay. He's had a really nice preseason. He is ahead of Ronald Jones. He might be worth picking up, but again, he doesn't have great value at this point in the draft. So I think I'd be inclined to grab somebody like maybe Duke Johnson. Maybe Kelvin Benjamin, even though, he doesn't have a great outlook or reliability, but look at the value. I mean, the value is tremendous. He is the wide receiver 1 on that team. Buffalo may be a mess, but he's still going to get catches, and he could be a solid choice. So anyway, we got 8 picks till our next turn, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pause this until we're within 3. Okay, we're back, and actually, I am looking here. I see Sony Michel is still sitting here. If he makes it to us, I think he's a great upside pick too. Like Tariq Cohen, he's a rookie. His role is basically for the Dion Lewis role on New England, and I don't like taking Patriots running backs before pick 100. But look, we're at pick 104. I would love to have him on my team. So let's see if he makes it to us. If LB3 does not take him, we will go ahead and we'll grab him. Otherwise, we'll grab Duke. All right, Sony Michel, awesome. So I think that's a great upside pick. I know he is injured. I don't like to draft injured players, but he is our 4th running back, so I think we're good. I'm not too worried about that. And let's go and jump to the 10th round then. So 10th round. Oh, okay. Look at this. You can still see Kelvin Benjamin still sitting at the top of the list, so he's a possibility. Kenny Stills, I very much like him. Look, he's got great value, 4-star outlook, high reliability, and a little bit better consistency. But I like Kenny Stills even more because Devontae Parker isn't playing right now for Miami. So I think he would definitely be a great target. Duke Johnson is still sitting here. Again, he's right on the cusp of our next pick. He may or may not be available. I think he'd be a good choice. Again, we don't need any quarterbacks, and I like to wait till the end to take a defense. So I think we've got our targets here. So, Kenny Stills, Duke Johnson, Kelvin Benjamin, even Sterling Shepard I think would be a decent choice on that offense. He had a great game last night, so I do like him. So let's so it's almost our pick. So let's go ahead and I think if we go Kenny Stills. Kenny Stills is still sitting there, so let's go ahead and we'll draft him. And we will be on to the 11th round. So moving into the 11th round here. Not a lot of great choices. Look at all those one-star players. Well, again, that's what happens when you get this late in the draft. That's why I like to wait on the quarterbacks, because this is a great round to take a quarterback. Are there any? But actually, I think most of the quarterbacks are probably gone at this point. Oh yeah, Alex Smith and Dak Prescott. So anyway, let's see what else do we have. Well, Randall Cobb's right at the top, and I think Randall Cobb would be a great choice. Although I would really like to take another running back. And you can see we have some okay options. I think of this group, I do like Jordan Wilkins. He's been doing really good in the preseason. He is a rookie. His value is terrible right now, but I've never been impressed with Marlon Mack, and I don't think he's their answer at running back. Marlon Mack is injured. I think Jordan Wilkins offers more upside as far as that's concerned. So I think I would take a chance on Jordan, but we can also just wait and see if anybody else falls falls in the 11th round, and maybe there's a better option like Sony Michel. He usually was not supposed to be available that late, so I took advantage of that. But we've got 8 picks till our next turn, so I will pause till we're within 3. All right, it's almost back to us, and remember how I said we see who falls? Look, Duke Johnson is still available. He is a great value right now. Pick 128. I think he offers great value. Who else? Let's see here. Is there anyone else? There's someone, Mike Williams, who also is a nice upside player. But I think we could target him on our next round. So let's go ahead. Let's take Duke. I think he's the most solid option of all the running backs that are available right now. And let's jump to the 12th round and see what we can see what we can find here. All right, so we got okay, so Mark Easley is dealing with an injury, so I don't want to deal with him. But Rashard Matthews currently offers a 5-star rating on the Tennessee Titans. I do like that. I mean, you don't see many 5-star players when you get up this high in the draft. You got Lockett, Clay, all those guys dealing with injuries. You got Dak Prescott if you wanted to take a quarterback, which we don't need to do. More injured players. Anthony Miller, who that's another player that offers a lot of upside. I think he's getting a lot of buzz. So we do have some decent options here. I think I might take Rashard Matthews just because look at the value, right? I mean, he's offering 8th round value in the 12th round. So that's definitely worth rostering. And right now, let's see, our wide receivers are Devontae Adams, T.Y. Hilton, Robbie Anderson, Kenny Stills. So I think, let's just take one more wide receiver, and then we will round it out with a running back to close out. See what high upside players we can find. So Rashard Matthews, there he is. And look at this. He's got an injury designation still. I thought that was released. Close to coming off the active pup list. You know what? I'm going to stay away from Rashard. I got to update that in my app. So let's go back to the list. And we were looking at, let's see here. Oh, there's Jordan Wilkins. We talked about Jordan Wilkins on the last round for the last round pick. I think, like I said, I think he offers some nice upside. So let's go ahead. We'll take a chance on him. And then the 13th round, we'll take a wide receiver. So I'm just going to filter for wide receivers. Let's see what we have in the 13th round. See what might interest us. We'll filter for wide receivers. No wide receivers, really? Wow, that's shocking. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll just look for like the best available. Maybe try to take a high upside rookie if they're still available. And it's 12 picks till our next turn, so I'm just going to pause till we're within 3. All right, so I just wanted to mention Kelvin Benjamin went off the board at 147. That's a tremendous pick. You can still see Richard Matthews here, but again, I want a healthy player, and I want a player with upside. I'm going to pick the rookie Gallup out of Dallas, just because I'm not impressed with any of the other wide receivers on that team. We'll take a chance on him. Again, if it doesn't work out, who cares, right? So all we have left is our defense and our kicker. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through the rest of this draft. I'll come back with our rating from Yahoo and see where we rank on FantasyPros. This team looks pretty good so far, so I do like it. I don't love it, but again, the 8th draft position is just a bear. It's really hard. So let's just quickly review. So we got Phillip Rivers as our quarterback. We got Devontae Adams, T.Y. Hilton, Robbie Anderson, Kenny Stills, and Michael Gallup as our wide receivers. We got Melvin Gordon, Royce Freeman, Tevin Coleman, Sony Michel, Duke Johnson, and Jordan Wilkins as our running backs. We've got Greg Olsen as our tight end. So, like I said, I do consider this a solid team, a contending team. Probably not the best team in this league, but let's see what we'll see what Yahoo thinks of it after we're done.